Hey everybody, I'm Henry Kaiser, and welcome to Five Hats, the series where I share how a producer, designer, engineer, artist, and journalist approaches a work-in-progress video game. Now, in the announcement episode, I shared that I'm developing the game for PC and console, but my resume involves a lot more work in virtual reality and augmented reality. So for this episode, let's put on the producer hat and ask, why develop a video game? Why not an XR? From day one of this project, I wanted it to be good and unique, I wanted it to push me, and I wanted it to be a financially viable use of my time. I've been a senior manager long enough that I can't help but scope the cost benefit of the venture. So right off the bat, I made a few early management decisions. Two key ones being, be able to do it solo as needed, and scope the project to about 5,000 personnel hours. 1,000 for core development, 2,000 to 3,000 for iteration and polish, 1,000 to 2,000 for marketing. These could shift based on fundraising or publishing deal, or even how effectively agile dev and community management is supporting marketing per se. But let's say 5,000. Now turn 5,000 hours into money, and if I paid every role some flat rate of $75 an hour, not usual, but the break even would be $375K. So a lot of monetization techniques, but for simplicity, let's use the basic one, unit sales. I can't know today what the game will be worth, but most indies range from $10 to $20. So let's say 15. At 15, the store takes 3, so that's 12 to me. Rounding up, I need 32,000 units sold. So where can I easily get 32,000 units? Nowhere. Nowhere is easy. Everything is effort and relationships, but in pure percentage of audience to capture, let's talk platform size and demand. If I did what I'm known for, XR, Quest is king. Meta says there are 10 million headsets and once reported 6 million monthly active users, but most apps have a fraction of that, and most users are sticking with free apps and games. So unless I start with fundraising or a partnership deal, the chance at a minor ROI is still fairly risky. Moving from XR, let's talk PC. The Epic Store reports having 75 million monthly active users, 12 times more than Meta Quest. Now a lot of that is Fortnite, but I'm developing on Unreal Engine 5, made by Epic, so it absolutely makes sense to launch on Epic Store. However, Epic hasn't fully cultivated a community of indie gamers, so we also want to immediately include the next one, Steam. Steam reports having 120 million monthly active users, 20 times more than MetaQuest, with 60 million being daily users. It gives its players deep tools to discover new games, which makes it a battleground for indies. But if you have what players expect, and standout features, and a solid marketing campaign, the rating system on Steam lets indies snowball into major successes. Now, indie center point aside, finding 32,000 users out of 120 million monthly active users is the best ratio we'll explore, especially when all those players have to pass the shop on the way to launching their games. Also on PC, I do want to mention the Humble Bundle store, which combines digital sales with charitable donations. Now, this is an action journalism game, and I would love to see this game bundled once or twice a year with other journalism games to help raise money for local and international news organizations. Switching away from PC, let's talk about consoles. PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo each have about 100 million monthly active users. But consoles are also the most common psychographic market for parents to buy games for their children. Now, this game has action and time-pressed gameplay that really appeals to players, but as I'll point out in future videos, this is also a journalism game where the player is a non-combatant and a storyteller building a career. Hello, parents, this is not a bad game for your kids. Now, aiming for consoles will have added costs, but I'm scoping for it from the jump. Moving away from platform sizes, let's talk about user expectations and product market fit. So, since we're talking unit sales and not freemium games, what do players look for in paid games? High bar for gameplay, and a flexible bar for style. For paid XR, there's a lower bar for gameplay than PC and console games, but a pretty high bar for experiential design and fidelity. Knowing my strengths, I'm a better designer than I am a world-class 3D artist. Any game I'm doing solo-ish, I'm gonna need to put gameplay first. Also, a pillar for XR games is focusing on immersiveness and physicality. Yet the game in my head, and based on a few hundred interviews with potential players about what they would most resonate with for the themes of the game, no one described immersiveness, nor physicality. So once again, it's starting to push me away from going headset first. Another point I want to put out there affecting market viability is accessibility. I want this game to reach anyone who who can afford the indie price to pay for it. Unless I build for WebXR or mobile first, most core audiences won't have a device that they can play XR games with in 2026. I want this to be something that classroom teachers can reasonably assign to their students. What Oregon Trail was to US history classes in my childhood, I want this to be for journalism students. Finally, for my own market fit, avoiding conflicts of interest. My experience in the XR industry has often involved intellectual property discussions. If this long-term project was something XR, when I'm negotiating for roles in an XR org, I don't want any lingering questions about whether I'm using work advancements in my game. On the other hand, I found the opposite while exploring roles in the games industry. It seems almost institutionally normal that devs have an indie project on the side. Every company and every circumstance is different, but as I navigate my next steps, I don't want any hiring manager to fear that this game of mine is going to somehow conflict with their core needs. So that's just a snippet of why it makes more sense for me to make a game than an XR. Larger, more market-fitting opportunities for the idea, meaning a higher chance of return, and also less risk of conflict with my own job prospects. If you disagree, or if you got your thoughts that you want to share, go ahead and put them below. And also, if you want to talk to me about something that you're working on, shoot me a message over on LinkedIn. Now, that's just how I look at one issue with the producer hat. Next time, we'll put on the designer hat, and we'll discuss the process of finding hooks for standing out. I'll see you then for more 5 hats. Take care.